guys, welcome to the New Moon Beauty YouTube channel. I am Jazz and I am the owner of New Moon Beauty, and we are a bath and body product business. So today I'm going to show you how I make I'm going to make a new soap. I'm going to test out a batch of soap, and I am going to be using, basically it's going to be the Love Spell Victoria's Secret sort of soap, but I'm going to be using a dupe fragrance oil for this one. So for today's soap, like I said, this is going to be a Love Spell fragrance inspired design soap, and I am using the Lovely Spell fragrance oil from Soaposh, one of my main suppliers of soap and bath and body products. So that's what I'm going to use today. It's really important when using fragrance oils to check your IFRA, and that basically tells you, it has a breakdown of all of the different usages that you can use fragrance oils for, and it's really important that you are using for soaps in particular that it's a wash off product. So you check your safe percentage use of level. If you don't and you use too much, it can obviously cause reactions and allergies for people, and we don't want that. So always check your IFRA. I have done mine, and this is the category 9A, so that's your wash off product, and I can use up to 13.5%. I would never use it at that level because it is a really strong fragrance on its own. I have Heart bath bombs in these, and I'll pop a photo so you can see them. It is a really lovely fragrance. I didn't think I'd like it, but I do. The Soaposh website says it's a stunning fragrance. This stunning fragrance is a deliciously sweet blend of cherry blossom, white musk, tangerine with hints of peach, strawberry, raspberry and bergamot, and it is really nice. So I think it's going to make a really nice soap. I'm going to do this with like pinks and purple shades. I think that's going to work best. Sniffing a lidded bottle. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I've got my lye solution next to me. Measure out all of my oils and melt them down, and then we'll be back. So here is my all of my oils. They are all melted, and my butters are melted. It's still quite hot. When working with any lye solution, is because it is a very corrosive substance, it's very harsh. You want to make sure you've got long sleeves, your gloves and some goggles, because the last thing you want is this going on your skin. So my fragrance oil is all measured out. I'm using about 35 grams of fragrance oil. To colour my soap, I'm going to be using two different micas. So I am using, I have micas from Soaposh, and then I also use Mica Mama, which I guess is a bit like Mad Mica in the States, potentially, I don't know. So I'm using Oyster Pink from Mica Mama, which is this gorgeous baby pink. If I turn it around that way you can see, it's really nice. And then I'm also going to use Blackberry Mica, and I've used this in another one of my soaps, and it's a gorgeous purple. And when mixed into soap, it looks like this. So this is one of my other soaps. This is a essential oil based soap. So this is my sleepy soap or sleep time soap, and it's all like really nice, calming, soothing essential oils like lavender, chamomile in here. But I use the same purple, and it just looks really gorgeous. So we're going to use that mic. So I've switched over to VoiceOver Jazz, and I am now adding my lye solution into my oils. I always pour the solution over the stick blender just so it doesn't go straight in, and then I give it a quick stir before I put the blender on. As you can see, it just gives everything a bit of an incorporation before we blend it. And as you can see, we are now going to blend the soap batter and bring it to a very, very light trace. I take it just past emulsion. I like to work with it really quite wet. Because this was my first time testing out this fragrance, I didn't know whether it would accelerate the soap, so I didn't want to over blend it. And as you can see, it is leaving just faint marks on the top of the surface of the soap. It did set up ever so slightly, but it was still plenty of playtime to create my swirls and things that I wanted. future note I probably would have done it slightly differently how I do the swirls, but that's fine. I'm now going to split my batter into 3, and I'm going to move the other 2 to the side, and the stuff that is in my bowl I am going to add a tiny little bit of titanium dioxide. This is just going to help lighten it to a more of a not necessarily a white colour, but a lighter colour. Now normally you could mix this with an oil or something and then pour it in, but I just went with the powder form because I was being lazy basically. So I'm going to give that a really good mix to make sure everything is nice and combined. I'm then going to add in 1/3 of my fragrance oil and give that a really good mix. I'm properly mixing it in so we don't have any potentially any parts of the soap that isn't scented. I'm then going to take my soap loaf mould, and I'm going to pour in pretty much all of the batter bar a little bit. Obviously give it a good tap, shake it around to make sure it's all in there nicely. And then I am going to work on the other 2 colours. So I am going to take my purple mica and do it's about a teaspoon's worth that I put in, to be honest, in each of these. I do add a bit more pink into the pink one just because it wasn't quite pink enough for me. And then, just like before, we're going to add in the remaining of our fragrance oil, and we're going to give it a really good mix. I did the lighter colour first, and it doesn't look like it's going to mix at first. You're not going to get a very pink colour, but trust the process. You do. Just give it a really vigorous mix. And this is where I add some more into it. So, you like I said, you get quite a bit of play time with it. Just make sure you give it a really good mix. You could stick blend it, but I didn't want it to accelerate and thicken up too much, so that's why I haven't done that. But I do the lighter colour first because I don't want to get purple in with the pink at this stage. So I'm just going to give that purple a really good mix. It looks like it's a bit of an off grey colour, but it's not. It is very much purple, and it does set to like nice purple. So I wanted to do an in the pot swirl, so I started to pour some of the pink and the purple into the remainder of the white batter. But as you can see, it has thickened up a little bit, so it doesn't necessarily mix in quite as well as I wanted. So I give it a tiny little bit of a mix in the thing, and as you can see, when I pour it on, it sort of just slides and plops on. So it did work, but not quite in the way that I wanted it to. So I just remember that for the next time I make this soap. But it's not a problem because I still think the results were really lovely. Now, we don't waste that soap, so I will scrape that out at the very end, but I'm going to give it a shake and a tap down just because it has thickened up a little bit to make sure it is all in there. Look how pretty that looks like that though. I love that little speckledy pattern on the top. So I'm going to go in and pour some more of the purple and the pink on this soap. And I'm basically just going to manoeuvre it around to give it a little bit of a swirl until I'm happy with it. I then decided I had too much soap batter left, so I pour a little bit more on the top of that, and then so I do the purple and the pink, and I had a tiny bit of white batter left, so I put that on there, and then I just smooth over the surface again, ready to do a swirl design with some silver mica. I'm then going to drizzle this silver mica all over. So this is just some mica that's been mixed with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I'm taking the back of my paintbrush and sticking it in there and giving it a good swirl around. I want to make sure that all of the soap has some bits of silver on it when it comes to cutting it. And actually this isn't as silver as I wanted it to be. I had some leftover gold mica in there, and you know what, I just thought, never mind, it'll give it a nice bronzy sort of pattern. So I'm then cleaning up the edges of the mould, and yeah, I love wet soap. I just think the patterns on it look amazing. I can't wait to see it when it's ready to cut. Hi guys, so it's now the next day and my soap is ready to cut, and I honestly, this has to be probably my favourite soap yet. I'm not normally a pink fan, which is ironic given I have pink hair, but it looks insane. So I've taken it out of the mould and here it is. I love it, just look. Look at that. And if I turn it onto the side, obviously the mould got caught a little bit, but that's not a problem. Just look at that sort of swirl pattern that's in there. So I'm going to cut it. Moment of truth. Okay, so here's the first slice. Do you know, it's not the kind of swirl I was expecting, but I'm also not mad at it. I think it's unique. So I'm gonna pop him to the side. And the nice thing with cold processed soap is that every one will be slightly different. No bar will look exactly the same. I love the textured top. And it smells really good. I probably could have got away with more fragrance oil in there, because it's quite a subtle scent. However, I obviously didn't want to put too much in there because I wasn't entirely sure how it would react. This was my first time using this fragrance oil, so I wanted to be on the side of caution with it just in case it accelerated, but it didn't at all. It was super easy to work with. Do you know, I really quite like that it isn't your typical swirl. I haven't actually seen a bar of soap with a swirl like that. Not that you could probably really call it a swirl. I definitely think I'm going to try and swirl it more second time. But for a first time, I'm really quite happy with it. And the very last thing to do is I use my plastic stamp to imprint my logo onto each of the soaps, and then we are done. So there we have it. There is what my logo stamp looks like embedded into the soaps. So there we have it. This soap is now made and will go into cure for the next 4 weeks because cold processed soap needs to cure, and then it should take around 4 weeks, and then we'll have a really nice solid hard bar that is going to produce a really gorgeous lathery foam. Let me know if you guys want to see what the soaps foam like. And like the lather that you get from them, I can do a little video on that. So yeah, that is the video on how I made my Love Spell soap. I love it. I can't believe how well it came out. There is obviously tips and room for improvement for next time, and I have made a note of all of that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you have liked this video. If you want to see more of my soap making and bath and body product and YouTube journey, then make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be posting a new video every week showing you some of my different products and how I make them. Let me know what you want to see in the comments section, and I will see you in the next one.